Yo, what's good? You're 413 here back in the day, and today, guys, we are here to take a look at this image and all of the clues that hide within it. For those of you guys unaware, with every series update, Playground Games likes to post an image very similar to this one with a bunch of cryptic clues about what we can see in the next series update. The next series update for Horizon 4 is going to be Series 13, which should be launching sometime in early September. So honestly, what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through all of these cryptic clues and try and figure out what's going on and give my thoughts and opinions on what we can expect. Now the thing is though, is I used to do this all the time back in Motorsport 7 and Horizon 3 with the car pack clue threads, and they ended up taking those away, and it just came to the realization, what if we talk about Torben Tuesday? Honestly, Johnny Wanna, if you're somehow watching this, I know you probably aren't, but if you are, please bring back the car pack clue thread. I miss it so much. I miss it so much, Johnny. I really do. It was a lot of fun to go through that. But right now, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on into it. So starting things off, let's go ahead and talk about the biggest clue on the board, and that is Rocket Chicken 2.0. We see a picture of a chicken, it's riding a rocket, and it's saying ciao. Well, the first thing that came to my mind is, okay, we got a chicken saying ciao. It's probably Italian. Ciao is an Italian greeting. So we're probably looking for an Italian sports car, relatively quick since it's on a rocket, and probably uses a bird as an emblem. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything like this at all. If there's maybe some kind of car out there that exists and you guys know about it, leave a comment down below. But I started thinking outside the box a little bit. I thought, okay, what do rockets have? Rockets have fire. Fire, chicken. Flaming chicken. Okay, Flaming Chicken 2.0. What about the second generation of the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am? You know, they're called the Flaming Chicken. And then I realized we already have the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am in this game. We have 3 generations of it now. And so that idea was pretty much scrapped. Unless, you know, it could mean that they are going to bring it back as a seasonal reward of some kind. So I started thinking, okay, what else do rockets have? Rockets make big boom noises. So what about Thunderbird? What about the second generation of the Ford Thunderbird? So this would be a very interesting car to say the least. We have other cars very similar to it. We have the Chevrolet Bel Air and we have the Plymouth Fury. So this car would sit kind of right in there with them. And honestly, those cars make fantastic drift cars. If you've never tried it out, I highly recommend it. So the Ford Thunderbird would be a really interesting option to see, because I don't think we've ever actually had a Thunderbird in Forza. I may be wrong. I think that there may have been one, like, first-gen Thunderbird back way in the day, but I cannot remember for the life of me. So I thought maybe we'll end up seeing a Thunderbird. My next thought, though, was, okay, a Ford Thunderbird really has nothing to do with Italy. It's not Italian design. It doesn't have an Italian-sounding name, anything like that. So why is the chicken saying ciao? So I decided to Google translate Rocket Chicken into Italian, and what you end up getting is you get Polo Razzo. So this made me think, okay, what about a 2019 Volkswagen Polo R? So I googled that real quick. Turns out the Polo R doesn't actually exist. There's been rumors and speculation that Volkswagen is working on a 300 horsepower all-wheel drive Polo. However though, it does not exist yet. But what does exist is a 2019 Volkswagen Polo R World Rally Champion. So that would be a very interesting option, because we have got World Rallycross vehicles in the game. You know, we've got the RSRX, we've got the Fiestas, and we don't really have any other brands though. Volkswagen, we got some Volkswagens as well. So this would be another Volkswagen rally car that we could actually get into the game, besides the Beetle that we already have. And that would be freaking dope. I would absolutely love to see that. Oh, and we have the Honda Civic. I forgot about the Honda Civic. But yeah, that would be absolutely dope. But how would that relate to the 2.0? Because we don't know what size motor is actually in that Polo. Well, it turns out that the Volkswagen Polo GTI has a 2-liter engine. So that would actually make sense right there. If we were to get the 2019 Volkswagen Polo GTI, you know, GTIs are pretty quick. They got a little bit more power. I guess that could be considered your rocket there. Polo for Pollo instead. You know, that's your chicken. And as well, a 2-liter engine for your 2.0. So that really is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking what we're going to see with this clue is the 2019 Volkswagen Polo GTI. So next up what we have is a series of Italian sounding names or words. I think they're names because when I did Google Translate I couldn't really get anything, but the words are really blurry, so I may have been misspelling them. But we see Bellini, Vagnell, Chitteri, and Nora. Vagnell, Chitteri, and Nora I really couldn't find any information on, although the first time when I did Google Vagnelli, I was able to find a little information about a 1951 Citroen from some book that was like a New York Times bestseller. I only read like one page and I couldn't actually find any other word or mention of Citroen in the book besides the one time where it said she stepped back from her 1951 Citroen. It's like, okay, so that's it. That's all we know. We don't have a model or anything like that. So that one I just kind of threw out. I have no idea what the other three are. However, though, Bellini, I found a whole bunch of information about because apparently this car has been in movies, it's raced, it's got a whole bunch of pedigree as it is an Aston Martin DB3S. Not very many of them were made, but the whole reason a lot of information exists about this car is for the fact that one sold recently at auction for $6 million. $6 million! And the fact that it sold at auction maybe would have brought the attention of the people over at Playground Games, and they could have been like, you know, maybe we could get this car scanned into the game, we can use it in future Forzas, we can use it in Horizon 4, so on and so forth. You know, that would make perfect sense. It's a car that many people basically just forgot about because there was so few of them actually produced. I think it was like 9. I can't remember the exact number, but there were so few of them produced because it was a race car that also appeared in a movie that I don't really think anybody who lives today has really seen because it was from the 1950s. There's a lot of people from the 1950s who have probably seen it, and I probably just offended a bunch of older folk. But yeah, to be honest, it was a car that really you don't hear a whole lot about, but apparently the car was called Bellini. That's what they called the car specifically. Don't know why, but that's probably what we're going to end up seeing. Our next clue is a set of Hot Wheels cars that are all Porsches. So in general, this probably means that we're going to see some kind of Porsche make its way into the game with this update. However, though, in particular, there's one Hot Wheel that really caught my eye under his desk, and that is a Porsche 917-30. We already do have a 917 in the game. We have the number 23 917-20 Pink Pig, and it costs 20 million credits. Or not 20 million credits, 10 million credits that is, in the auto show. So you can go buy this car right now. It is quite possible that they're going to make this car available via a seasonal championship or something like that. But what I'm thinking is we may end up actually seeing the 917-30 that was introduced in Forza Motorsport 7 make its way over here to Horizon 4. It was listed as a Forza Specials and really wasn't put into any class at all. And it would kind of make sense to actually have it over here in Horizon 4. Although it is a race car, we've got its like little brother, the 917-20, so why not bring it over? That would be pretty dope. And for the next couple of clues, I will give you a little bit of a spoiler. They are going to be related to Porsche. So I will say that we're going to go with a little bit of a Porsche theme here for a little bit. Our next clue is actually a series of lottery numbers, or what somebody actually claimed are lottery numbers on the Twitter page. And that is 19-18-70-51-66. And you bet your sweet ass I'm going to go buy some lottery tickets tonight with those numbers and hope I pull off a victory somehow. Odds are I'm probably not going to win a goddamn thing. But if you actually instead take those dashes and use them as subtraction signs, you actually get the number -186. But then we see this other big number on the screen, 1,110. And if you add 1,110 to -186, you get 924. So what I'm believing here is we're actually going to end up getting a Porsche 924. It was available in Horizon 3, so bringing it over to Horizon 4 really won't take too much work. And honestly, I'm surprised it hasn't been in the game already. Like, it should have been here from the get-go, but it's not. So I'm honestly leaning towards the 924 here. I think that's probably what we're going to end up seeing. Next up, we see a picture of a covered car over on the monitor. So this is actually on his computer, and you see a picture of just a nice covered car. Maybe he was watching an episode of Friends, because that's where this image comes from. Specifically, it is Matt LeBlanc, who plays Joey on that show. If you guys don't know, Matt LeBlanc is also an avid car fan. You know, host of Top Gear and all, or former host of Top Gear that is now. So, in this episode, Joey finds a pair of keys to a Porsche. And when he does, he actually is able to locate the car. And he tells a lot of people, you know, oh, it's not my car. It's not my car. Pretty girl walks around the corner. Oh, I love your car. Oh, yes, it is my car. I love my car. All that sort of stuff. It's hilarious. It's really, really funny. If you guys have ever watched Friends, it's that sort of humor. Thing is, though, is we don't really know a whole lot about this car in particular. All we know is that it's a 2001 Porsche Cabriolet. We don't know what the trim level is, and we don't know anything else about it. So, what's probably going on is that this is a Porsche Carrera 4 Cabriolet, because that's the least expensive model. It'd be the cheapest one for them to get their hands on. Not a big deal. But what if they decided to up it for Forza, and they decided to give us a 911 Turbo Cabriolet? You know, maybe they're going to take the top off, maybe they'll leave the top on, because the top on does look kind of funky in my opinion, because it's got this weird line just below the rear windows, and I don't like it. I really, really don't like it. But honestly, if they took the top off, we could have a nice convertible Porsche that we can use here in Horizon 4. And really, Horizon 4 is the place for a convertible Porsche. We got the nice rainy days of the United Kingdom to ruin our interiors. And on that occasional nice sunny day, we can throw that car around and have a ball. So these next two clues, I'm not entirely sure what they're about. I'm going to start off with the distribution graphs. So, for those of you guys who have not taken statistics, a distribution graph is basically a population sample. And normally, what we see with sample populations is a normal bell curve. And this is where, in the middle, we see the largest amount of the population, and then on the lower ends and on the higher ends, we see lower parts of the population, because everything wants to come to an average. Well, we also see on the screen a multimodal distribution, and this is where on the ends there are two extremes with a small but, you know, slightly responsive group in the middle, and this is multimodal. However, though, multimodal is also a bad word for car people, because multimodal refers to the fact that in the future, as society continues to grow, we're going to see cities adopt multimodal transportation, which is things like e-scooters and bicycling, and then maybe rental cars, like tiny little rental cars that self-drive yourself, buses, and self-flying cars, like flying cars that drive themselves. I'm not even joking. Apparently there's a company working on this named Bell Automotive, and they want to make self-flying cars that'll be available sometime in the mid-2020s. No, just no. That sounds like a terrible idea. I'm just saying. But honestly, that would be funny if we actually ended up seeing that. The Bell Automotive self-flying car in Forza Horizon 4. Because we do have a multimodal distribution curve. And we got a bell curve. How about that? But no, that is probably not going to be it. What I'm thinking we might see from this is maybe a Horizon story that deals with why cars are better than multimodal forms of transportation, such as bicycles, e-scooters, that sort of stuff. So that would be kind of curious if we do get a new Horizon story and that turns out to be true. But really, I don't know what is going on here. If you guys have any ideas, leave a comment down below, as I'm curious to hear what you guys got to say. Next up, we have Clippy. Oh, Clippy. Everybody's least favorite Windows mascot. Oh my gosh, why on earth is Clippy on the board? For those of you guys who were born after the year 2000, Clippy is a paperclip that would remind you of how to do things in Microsoft Office and others Windows programs. And honestly, everybody hated Clippy. It would be like you'd go into Windows and you would go into Office and you go into Word and you would highlight it all and you hit Control-C to copy it, and then Clippy would pop up and be like, hey, I see you copied something to your clipboard. Were you looking to paste something to your clipboard? Try pressing Control P. And it's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And actually, that's the wrong control key. It's actually Control V for paste. Control P is print. But I messed that up pretty bad. But yeah, nobody liked Clippy. But actually, just this month, Windows brought Clippy back. They brought Clippy back, and then they killed him immediately. So honestly, that's kind of what I think is going on here is, since Microsoft owns Playground Games, I think they're just kind of doing this as a tribute to Clippy. Like, I really think that's all they're doing here. They're just doing this to maybe throw us off. I did find something about Clippies and Bentley. I don't know what that has to do with it. I couldn't find any information. It's just if you type in Clippy on Google image search, some reason Bentleys pop up, and there was nothing about them. About, like, there was something about a profession called a Clippy, and I don't know what that is. I couldn't find any information on it whatsoever. So it's possible that this is in relation to a Bentley of some kind, but odds are it's probably not. So I decided to save the two best clues for last. Starting things off, we have a list of pasta. And what they are is we have penne, rigatoni, ravioli, tortellini, and fusilli. Now, fusilli could be another reference to Porsche, because there's an episode of Seinfeld called The Jerry Fusilli, where basically a sculpture of Jerry Seinfeld made out of fusilli pasta ends up getting destroyed, and Jerry's got car problems. We don't know what car he was having car problems with, but Jerry Seinfeld is an avid Porsche fanatic. He's got a massive collection of Porsches, so really wouldn't be any surprise if this is just in relation to some kind of Porsche. However though, also it's just generally pastas. And this is not the first time that we've seen pastas up on the board. In fact, actually with the last Torben Tuesday, which was 2 series ago, literally on the board it just says pasta. That's all we see, just pasta. So most people were actually sitting there thinking, okay, we're going to get some kind of Italian car. That's all we know. They ended up getting the Maserati Ghibli and the Fiat Dino Coupe that week. So what other cars could we get from this? Because we know that Fiat maybe might be related to this. So there are a couple Fiats that have not made it in to Horizon 4 from previous Forza games. Specifically, we have the 1975 Fiat X1-9, and we have the 1952 Fiat 8V Supersonic. So those are two cars that we could see as an option. The other thing that a lot of people were talking about is that Pista sounds a lot like pasta, and that was what everybody was guessing on the last Torben Tuesday. So what we could end up seeing is we could see the Ferrari 488 Pista. Maybe they saw on their Twitter thread, everyone was saying, bring the Pista to us, bring the Pista. And so they thought, oh, we'll throw pasta back up on the board, and that'll be our clue. So maybe that's what we're seeing here. Maybe we're getting the 488 Pista, maybe we're getting the 8V Supersonic or the X19. Don't know, we will have to wait until the update comes to find out. So our final clue is the Mac Daddy of them all, especially if you are a hypercar fan. Because what we see above the picture of Joey's Porsche is a calculator. And on this calculator, it says 0 plus 1. And some of you guys are probably thinking, grr, what on earth does that mean? Well, if you spoke Italian, you would probably be shitting your pants right now. Because what this most likely is the Italian design 01. So the 01 actually used the same 5.2 liter naturally aspirated V10 that is found in the Audi R8 and the Lamborghini Huracan, and produces the same 610 horsepower, as well as producing 383.5 pound-feet of torque. And it's an all-wheel drive system, just like the Audi R8 and the Huracan. Basically, this is what this is. It's a very expensive Lamborghini Huracan. Only 5 of these cars were produced, and each one had a base price of $1.7 million. Then, on top of that, the 01 was so successful, they decided to produce a Roadster variant. Again, another limited production run of 5 cars for, well, more expensive. They don't really have a price here on the wiki page. That's all they got. But honestly, it is a absolutely beautiful car, and I can't wait to see this thing actually in Forza, if this is what I think it is. There's a few other options out there. I doubt they are what they are, but honestly, I'm really hoping that this is what we get. This would be the best thing to come out of this clue. So anyway though, that's where I'm going to go and wrap things up for today. Leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts and opinions on this picture on this Torben Tuesday, as I'm curious to hear what you guys got to say. As well, if you want to, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at twitter.com/Griffin13 and Instagram.com/Griffin13. And if you guys like this video, go make sure to hit that like button down below for us, because you guys already know your support is so greatly appreciated. And make sure to subscribe for more videos coming out all the time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.